Explosive twist to India's corona war. After President Trump launches a probe, Modi government begins Chinese virus assessment. Did coronavirus escape from a Chinese lab? India not ruling out the Chinese lab theory. Will India launch a full-fledged probe into the Chinese virus? Big national security twist to the virus. Will India's move spark friction with China? Could India smash China's cover-up? The big India Today exclusive.
200,000 people are dead worldwide. China under increasing pressure from the world because the world wants to know the truth. Did the Wuhan coronavirus originate in a laboratory in Wuhan? Is there element of truth? India has also started an internal assessment to find facts. I'm Gaurav Sawant. The death toll, the number of total cases and the number of people who've been cured so far. Now the total number of cases of coronavirus in India inching close to the 30,000 mark. The numbers as of now stand at 29,834. 937 people have unfortunately lost their lives in this battle against the novel coronavirus. And when we look at the number of people cured, and that is where there's a big ray of hope. 7,027 people have been cured so far. Of course, government saying plasma therapy as of now is still in experimental stage. Let me also take you through the top developments across our country. And the Maharashtra police has taken some very important steps after 3 brave Maharashtra police personnel made the supreme sacrifice of their lives in this war against coronavirus. The Maharashtra police has said all personnel above the age of 55 who have pre-existing ailments to immediately proceed on leave. This move comes amidst coronavirus claiming 3 lives of Mumbai police personnel in the past 3 days. More than 100 police personnel have tested positive in Maharashtra. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh interacted with heads of defence public sector undertakings and the Ordnance Factory Board. Of course, this was through video conferencing. He reviewed recent business performances and their contribution in India's fight against coronavirus. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister will hold a meeting with medical expert committee tomorrow. The Tamil Nadu government is likely to take a decision regarding the extension of the lockdown after this expert panel meet. At present, there are about 2,000 cases of Covid-19 in Tamil Nadu. More than 200,000 people are dead worldwide. In India, as we just told you, the number of people affected is close to 30,000, but Government of India wants to know the truth. In America, an official inquiry has already been ordered. In India, the National Security Council is carrying out an assessment. It's collating information from across the world to find out whether this was a lab-originated virus. Another theory doing the rounds is, while it may have originated in a lab, did it leak out due to bad lab practices? India Today's Shiv Arur with our top story tonight.
Did the novel coronavirus escape from this Chinese laboratory in Wuhan? Once just a whisper of conspiracy, the theory is now the subject of a full-fledged probe by the United States. And now, in an explosive new development, India Today has learned that India's very own national security setup has started a comprehensive internal assessment of the origin of the novel coronavirus. And the assessment very much includes the possibility that the virus escaped from a Chinese laboratory in Wuhan. India launched its assessment of Covid-19 in March, well ahead of the Trump administration's decision to launch a full-fledged hunt for viral origins. The Indian assessment covers all aspects, including viral origins, and is going with 3 possibilities. Other than a natural infection, the possibilities being looked at are a biological warfare experiment and a vaccine experiment gone wrong. With India publicly junking Chinese rapid test kits, relations are already delicate. Whether India's viral origin assessment expands into a full-fledged probe is unclear at this time. The diplomatic fallout of such probes is already quaking through the region though. China and Australia are locked in an ugly diplomatic collision after Australia has not only called for Chinese transparency in the origins of coronavirus, but also an independent probe.
Well, I think such an inquiry is important, and we can respectfully have a difference of view from that's been put by China. The virus began in China, in Wuhan. That's, I think, well understood. It's important for public health globally that there is a transparency in the way that you can get access to this important information early. So it's not pursued as an issue of criticism. It's pursued as an issue of importance for public health.
The so-called independent investigation proposed by Australia is virtually political manipulation, which is unpopular and disrupts international cooperation in the epidemic prevention. At this critical moment, it is quite irresponsible to make unfounded, suspicious and unwarranted accusations for political purpose. We admonish Australia, cast away ideological prejudice and political manipulation, genuinely focus on the well-being of the Australian people and the public health and safety of people around the world.
The China-Australia face-off is being monitored very closely by India. While the Modi government has so far focused on containing the spread, could India's strategic interests look to corner China on an issue that has bled the world? The most obvious question is, will India convert the National Security Council's internal assessment into a full-fledged official probe? Could India's Foreign Office join the global call for Chinese transparency on viral origins? And what will the impact be on diplomatic relations? With the world's gaze now fixed on this virology lab in Wuhan, the question is, can an increasingly isolated China be forced to stop covering up and speak the truth? Bureau Report, India Today.
Joining me on the broadcast is Brahma Chilani. Professor Brahma Chilani is a strategic thinker, author, commentator. He's a keen China watcher. Professor Chilani, welcome on India First. I also have with me India Today's consultant editor Shiv Arur for more on this. And Shiv, give us a breakdown. What is it that the government intends to do and what's the roadmap? What is the NSC, the National Security Council, doing?
You know, Gaurav, the National Security Council initiating an assessment covering all aspects of the coronavirus, including the very sensitive issue of the origins of this particular virus, is a hugely sensitive development. And it also shows that India is not ruling out any aspects, even though the priority of the Modi government at this point of time is, of course, in containing the spread and, treating those who've been infected with COVID-19. It is not losing sight of the strategically important issue of the Chinese cover-up. This is not something that India is saying. This is something that has sparked a full-fledged probe by the Trump administration as well. Australia has started calling for an independent investigation into a Chinese cover-up over the possibility that the virus actually came from a laboratory. There are experts around the world, who believe that this is no longer just a conspiracy theory, but there is reason to believe that there could be much more than meets the eye. But for the Indian government to actually conduct this internal investigation, begs the question, will this expand into a larger official probe? We've seen how China has very viciously attacked both the United States as well as Australia, for either initiating a probe or calling for an independent probe. So far, India has kept it as an internal probe under the auspices of the National Security Council. Should it expand into a larger probe, it will have diplomatic implications as well. But for a powerful country with a large knowledge powerhouse like India to actually be looking into the origins of the coronavirus will definitely raise eyebrows in China. It definitely increases China's isolation and is something to look out for going ahead.
More than 200,000 people are dead worldwide. The world deserves to know the truth. But Professor Chilani, is there any evidence on record to indicate that the Wuhan coronavirus was genetically engineered, and as there is a case in the United States of America, is there proof to show that this was used as a biological weapon, sir?
There is no evidence to suggest that the virus was genetically engineered as a bioweapon. But that does not mean that it did not originate from a lab in Wuhan. In fact, there are Chinese studies. One study published in the Lancet Medical Journal by Chinese medical scientists, and another study which was published on ResearchGate, and both said that 2 labs in Wuhan were engaged in dangerous work on natural bat-derived coronaviruses. And that work was so dangerous that the possibility of the coronavirus escaping accidentally from one of the labs cannot be ruled out. Now, that theory has gained credence internationally because of the fact that China has not allowed access to either of the 2 labs in Wuhan. The WHO sent a team to China in mid-February. 3 members of that team were allowed to visit Wuhan, but they were not given access to either of the 2 labs. And you know how China is reacting to any call for international inquiry into the origins of the coronavirus? It's responding by attacking the country or the person quite viciously. Now that showcases China's guilt. If China was innocent, if this virus had not escaped from a lab accidentally, China would be welcoming an international inquiry. It would be offering full assistance to such an inquiry. But look at the manner it is attacking any country and any individual calling for an inquiry.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Whether it's Australia, the United States of America, but increasing demands for China to come clean. In fact, cases have been filed in the United States of America, including one of $20 trillion. And in this case, China stands accused of genetically engineering a virus with the aim to aid and abet loss of life and property across the world and destabilize the world economy.
More than 30 lakh coronavirus cases across the world. Global death toll exceeding 2,10,000. As humanity battles one invisible enemy, the world is pointing fingers at China and demanding payback. Nations across the world are accusing Beijing of deceiving the public and suppressing critical information about the spread of Covid-19. And this time, countries are taking the legal route to make China pay. The loudest demand is from the United States.
We have a lot of discussions going on with China. Let me just put it this way. I'm not happy, okay? I'm not happy. And I spoke to them, and this could have been shut down a long time ago.
At least 3 American states have now filed actual lawsuits against China. Missouri was the first US state to sue China, alleging that Beijing has caused irreparable damage to countries globally. Mississippi, too, has announced plans to file a lawsuit against China over its response to the novel coronavirus outbreak. The state's Attorney General, Lynn Fitch, said that China must not be allowed to act with impunity.
They're directly responsible for, the untold human suffering, the loss of life, and the economic damage. And so we brought suit against the Chinese government for their role in concealing the coronavirus. They were destroying evidence, silencing critics, silencing whistleblowers. This is all about getting to the truth and making sure that they're held accountable.
The Berman Law Group has also filed a lawsuit in South Florida seeking billions in damages. A $20 trillion lawsuit has been filed by American lawyer Larry Klayman and his advocacy group Freedom Watch, along with Texas company Bus Photos.
The damages just so far to the American small businesses are in the billions, probably the hundreds of billions of dollars at this point.
One of Germany's largest newspapers, Bild, has made out an unusual invoice. The daily has billed China for the money it owed Berlin in coronavirus damages. Bild has drawn up an itemized invoice with 27 billion euro charge for lost tourism revenue between March and April, up to $7.2 billion for the German film industry, €1 million an hour for German airline Lufthansa, and $50 billion for German small businesses. That makes a grand total of 149 billion euros. Bild reckons that it's about 1,784 euros per person if Germany's GDP falls by 4.2%. Seeking global solidarity to sue China for $6.5 trillion for covering up coronavirus. As the chorus to make China pay grows, Bishing has called the claims absurd.
这种所谓的控告毫无事实和法律依据。
This so-called accusation has no factual and legal basis and is nothing short of absurdity. Since the coronavirus epidemic, China has been acting in a transparent manner to timely inform the WHO and relevant countries and regions of the epidemic situation, share the genome sequence with other countries, actively respond to the concerns of all parties and strengthen cooperation with the international community. The so-called lawsuit is an abuse of litigation which violates basic legal principles.
有违基本法理。
These numbers seem astronomical right now, but this is payback being demanded from a world that is wounded almost like never before. The question is, will China be made to pay? Bureau Report, India Today.
Will truth emerge? Will China be made to pay? Will China be held accountable? These are questions that are being asked almost across the world, from Australia to the United States of America. Professor Chilani, can the world unite to make China pay? What will be that platform? United Nations, International Court of Justice? Will the world have to unite, sir?
International law is very weak against the powerful states, but powerful against the weak states. So it will not be easy to hold China to account for unleashing a global pandemic. But what the pandemic will do is to restructure the international economic order. In the post-pandemic era, major economies will try to reduce their dependence on China. They will seek to restructure their economic relationships with Beijing. And that will force costs on China. Those costs will be beyond the domain of international law. Those costs countries will begin to impose on China by reordering their economic relationships. A large number of foreign manufacturers in China will seek to move out of China. And therefore a country like India will have a historic opportunity to serve as a magnet for many of these manufacturers wanting to relocate outside China.
Is that going to be the road ahead? We'll be tracking that story very closely. Professor Brahma Chilani and Shiv Arur, for the moment, many thanks for joining me. India is fighting back. India is fighting back when it comes to the novel coronavirus. Also, when it comes to that faulty Chinese test kits, the rapid test kits. Several states complained about it. The ICMR said don't use it. India now wants to return those kits to China. Several states want to do that. China, of course, says India did not use those kits in the manner in which they were meant to be used. But what's the truth? Our medical bureau with this report.
A day after the ICMR cancelled orders to procure rapid antibody test kits from 2 Chinese companies, India has decided to return the faulty kits to China. The centre is also ramping up production of COVID test kits within the country. Rapid antibody test kits are already being manufactured in Haryana's Manesar. These kits can give instant results.
सब चीज़ें एडवांस्ड स्टेज में है. बहुत जल्दी ICMR की क्लियरेंस होते ही विद इन ए वीक वो सब चीज़ें प्रोडक्शन स्टेज में चली जाएंगी. जैसा कि हमारा टारगेट है कि 31 मई तक हम 1 लाख टेस्ट देश में करना चाहते हैं हर रोज़. उस टारगेट को अचीव करने में भी ये डेवलपमेंट हमें बहुत मदद करेगी।
The deal with Chinese companies was cancelled after the Delhi High Court on Monday unearthed a profiteering scandal. A legal dispute revealed that ICMR was being sold the kits at double the price at 600 rupees per test.
टेंडर देने के बाद जब उन्होंने सप्लाई किया तो उसके बाद जब फील्ड पर उनके बारे में कंप्लेंट आई तो आईसीएमआर ने इमीडिएटली रिएक्ट किया। आप सबकी नॉलेज में है, उसके बेसिस पर रिएक्ट करके उन्होंने उनको कैंसिल भी किया और कोई भी पेमेंट उन ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस को नहीं दिया गया है।
The Chinese kits were also showing wide variation in test results. Beijing, however, is blaming Indian agencies for faulty tests.
India is not buying the Chinese argument. The ICMR has said due to wide range of sensitivity found in the Chinese rapid antibody test kits, they are faulty, and that the companies' want for and lives on orders have been returned and have been cancelled, and that India will not be buying the rapid antibody test kit from these companies anymore.
At a time when testing has become ever so important, the accuracy rate of kits from China is abysmal globally. From Spain to Britain to Turkey to Italy, all have returned the testing kits and are demanding refunds from China. With Milan Sharma, Bureau Report, India Today.
Big opportunity for Make in India. Every Indian is coming together, not just to fight coronavirus, but also faulty Chinese kits and Chinese products. I want to leave you on a very happy note. Take a look at these images. A senior citizen, a retired army colonel. He was surprised. In fact, he was shocked when the police knocked at his door in Panchkula this morning. He opened the door. He knew nothing about what was happening. Then a policewoman stepped forward and she presented him a birthday cake. It was his birthday. He broke down. Take a look at these images. We leave you with this happy thought of our entire country coming together as one people.
आइए अंकल प्लीज आइए केक कटिंग करो कैप लगा के Happy birthday to you.
Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.